So, I am Stiff Steve, or Evan. I'm making pizza dough on about half of Kathleen for Sweetly Savory here. I'm gonna make the dough because I'm halfway decent at it, I guess. I don't know, I'm pretty good at it. So I told her I'd make it for her. So the pizza is a little bit of prep. It's pretty good, but the first thing I'm gonna show you is it's very important to already have your oven on, right? I put the oven as high as it goes, so 500, and I don't know if I can get you the camera in there, but you can kind of see that I've already put a pizza stone in there, and the trick to it is you kind of want the stone to get kind of like hot, very hot, because the trick to cooking really good pizza is hot and fast. So it's already been in there probably for 30 minutes, but you want to get it good and hot, like probably an hour at least before you put your first pizza in there. And usually I cook them maybe a max of 8 to 9 minutes. It's super easy to make the dough. You don't really need a lot that goes into it. So I'm bringing you maybe a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So you need a mixer. If you don't have a mixer, you can mix it by hand, just kind of a pain. Olive oil is good to have, you know, good Italian feeling, you know. Bread flour, if you don't have bread flour, regular flour will work just fine, but bread flour will definitely work better, in my opinion. All right, so I gotta prep the yeast. I haven't done that yet, so I'm gonna do that first. So I got some active dried yeast. All we're gonna do is basically we're gonna put a little bit of hot water in here. You don't need very much. You know, basically, I know there's some people that will, you know, get the temperature of it. It's not really necessary. Just kind of like hold your hand under it until it's hot. You could use cold water, but you know, I'm not really known for my patience. So, anyways, so we're gonna put our yeast in there. And then, I don't know if you can see, but basically see I got that in there now. And basically we're just gonna let it sit. And how you know it's working is we'll check it out in a few minutes after we get the ingredients together, is we'll see some bubbles. So what we're going to need to measure out is 4.5 to 4 3/4 cups of bread flour or all-purpose flour. So I'm just gonna measure that out real quick. And then this is kind of a baking tip. When you're doing anything for baking, do not stuff the flour in here, because traditionally it's done by weight, and I don't really feel like weighing it, to be honest. So what you can do is you can take like a butter knife or some other type of knife, or fork would probably work, and basically you're just going to use the other edge of the knife, not the sharp part, but the flat part, and you're just kind of like scrape the flour off. So see? That way I get an exact cup and not any more. All right, so then now I got 4 3/4 cup of flour. I decided to put in an extra 1/4 cup because I've seen in the past where it gets a little too liquidy, and you want it to be like bread dough. And then you're gonna just take some olive oil. You could probably put in like maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. I just kind of guesstimate it, and so that's probably good enough. So we'll put that back. Now, you want to put a little bit of salt in. Now, any salt you put in bread, you want to make, when you put it in, you want to make sure to put any yeast on the other side, because the salt will kill the yeast. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the opposite side, and that's all we're going to put in there, not very much. And then, because we're trying to do this quickly, we're going to put in a little bit of sugar. The sugar basically is going to be the food for the yeast. They're also going to use the gluten in the bread. So we're just going to, you know, maybe put in like a couple pinches because we don't want them to go like nuts. right? All right, so then if I can, I don't know if I can kind of bring you over here and show you, but what I wanted to show you was this. So you can kind of see it can bubbly in there. That's kind of what we're going for there. So we're just going to take it and we're going to put it on the other side to try and get as much of the yeast paste as I can, because basically turned into paste on me here and here. So now we're going to mix up the bread dough with some water, of course. Got the water, it's kind of important. And you need only a cup and a quarter, not very much water at all. So you see I have some water in there now. And now we're just gonna put this in here and we're gonna kind of just let it go. You always want to start off with the lowest setting here. And that's pretty much all you need. And then you probably want to do it, I don't know, for anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, usually 7 minutes, because you don't want to do it too overdo it. Alright, so our bread dough, or pizza dough, is done being made here, and it should kind of look like this. It shouldn't be really stick to your hands at all, so it doesn't really stick to mine. It's a little moist, but it's more dense than moist, which was kind of what I was going for, because I like to have a nice, well, you'll see. Basically, I'm going to turn this into 4 pizzas. Now, you could have done this by hand, but I chose to use the dough hook with the KitchenAid because it's a lot faster. But anyway, once you've done this, you get like something metal like this and grease it. I greased it with Crisco. And then you're just going to take your dough and you're going to plop it in there. You could use a cloth if you want and lay a cloth over it. I like to use saran wrap. So I like to, I don't know, just an old habit, I guess. You know how it is, old habits die hard. Anyways. Alright, and so our dough is prepared. So we will come back to that, I don't know, probably half hour or so, and we'll start making some pizzas. So we'll see you then. Alright, so our dough has risen. I actually gave it an hour instead. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's risen really good. So, I mean, if you really want to turn this into bread, you could. I mean, probably wouldn't just be very plain bread, but we're going to make pizza dough with it. So, I have, kind of tools of the trade here, or tools for making pizza. I have this mat. All it really is just, measuring stuff. You could really just do it on a counter if you wanted to. And then, because it likes to roll up, I have things holding it down, in case anybody's wondering. But anyways, so I'm just going to take some flour and kind of just move it around. You want to do this because you don't want the flour to stick. You don't want your dough to stick to your hands or anything, so you want to get you could actually use cold water. Just get a light, very light coating of flour in your hands first. And then see how I get the bread out? You kind of use your fingers to kind of just pull it away. You can also do that while you're making bread. But the reason you do that is so it comes out cleaner, and you're kind of using your hand as like a tool almost, almost like God intended. Anyway, so obviously this is way too big for one pizza. This actually makes 4 pizzas, just so you know. This recipe I'm showing you. I'm probably only going to make 2 or 3 tonight. So this here is for cutting dough. It even has little measurements on it. I don't even know where I got it from. But, you know, you could honestly do it like a butter knife if you wanted. And anything, it doesn't need to be a super sharp knife. And it doesn't need to be like perfect, but you kind of want to, if you want to be like perfect, you could like weigh it or something. But see, I'm just going to like cut through it like this. And then when I'm done with that, I'll cut each of these in half, right? Just to make my life easier for later. All right, so once you got cut out, we're gonna kind of make it into a ball a little bit. And we're going to, you know, kind of do that. And I usually like to kind of flatten a little bit. You don't have to, but I just like to do that to make it easier. And then I'm just gonna there we go. So then you need a rolling pin. And then what I would recommend you do is take a little bit of flour. I'm using all-purpose flour, just so you know, because I don't like to waste bread flour if I don't have to. And just kind of like, you know, you don't need to like kill it with flour, but anyways. And then we're just gonna kind of roll it out, trying to keep it even so it stays circular. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. This is homemade pizza. It's never going to be perfect, you know. And I don't know, you kind of want to roll it so it's kind of thin, but not like super thin. You don't want to do like paper thin, but like, I don't know, it's probably maybe at most a 16th to an 1/8 inch thick. It's not really very thick at all. And then what you really are going to need is what's called a pizza peel. That's what this is. I really wish I had a better one, but this will be good enough for our purposes. And so I don't really have the greatest prep area in the world, so we're just going to kind of do it that way. You're going to want to have cornmeal, and the cornmeal is so that when you go to put it in the oven, the pizza doesn't, because if I just put this on here, it's going to stick to this. It'll never come off. It'll never come off the pizza peel. It'll be super frustrating, and oh yeah, it'll be super frustrating. So I like to be super liberal with the cornmeal, so I just kind of take it. There's probably arguably more than I need, but I really dislike when the pizza sticks on here after you spent time making a really good pizza. So you kind of just spread it around like that. Then you're going to carefully take your dough, and we're just going to kind of lay it on here. Again, doesn't need to. And then usually you might want to do like a test, see how it jiggles. That's what you want. You want it to like just fly off when you throw it into the oven. I'm a fan of putting olive oil on the dough, and trust me, you're going to want to put olive oil on the dough. Now the reason is so olive oil will burn in the oven, right? Well, it'll smoke, right? And you want that because, you know, you want that traditional, like, I don't know, like a crust brown, it's kind of crispy, right? Which, if memory serves, I could be wrong, that's more of like the Greek style pizza. Personally, that's what I prefer. You know, if you don't like that, you know, make your dough thicker and hold the olive oil, I guess.
Chicago!
Chicago, okay. So anyway, don't put too much on. That's like maybe all you need. And then just take like a spoon like this. And you just want to basically get the dough like wet with the olive oil. I can tell I'm going to need more. But basically you want to use the spoon to like coat as much of the dough with the olive oil as you can. You want to get out as much of the edge as you want, because you want it to brown in the oven. And then, just like I mentioned earlier, the oven's been on this whole time, getting my pizza stone super hot. Because the trick to cooking the pizza is hot and fast. And because, you know, I don't have a brick oven, So the oven turned up to 500 is basically going to simulate that.
Question.
What's up?
For those who have a food brush, a food paintbrush.
Oh, like a food brush? I don't know. I tried to use one of those before, and I feel like it kind of just, I find it frustrating to use. Maybe I don't have the right one. The way I was taught to do it is use a spoon. A spoon, I don't know what it is about spoons. They just do such a great job of spreading things around. And because I don't like to mix things, so. And now we're gonna put pizza sauce on. Now I just got like any drab pizza sauce. I'm going to put some spices on it, kind of, make it better. But anyway, you don't need a lot. So probably like 2 scoops of like the tablespoon here. And you want to spread it around. Now, you do not need to roll up the dough at the end for the crust, because what's going to happen is the weight of your ingredients is going to hold the center down, right? And so around, what you don't put ingredients on will rise as it cooks. It won't rise a lot because, the yeast only had an hour versus it had a day. It would probably rise more. But basically what I want to do is kind of like bring it near the edge if you can. Maybe a little bit more. That's probably all we need. Not very much. There. Right? So then I have these spices, right? That I have here. And it's mostly it's kind of basically like, I don't know what they are, honestly. I got them from Williams Sonoma. Basically, this is like a pizza seasoning. I don't really know what's in here. It doesn't really even say.
Like oregano, basil, thyme, rosemary, probably.
Seasoning. So in the ingredients it says garlic, sun-dried tomato, California chili, cayenne pepper flakes, onion, sea salt, basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme, black pepper. So yeah, traditional seasoning, kind of all mixed together here. It's a little on the heat side. So if you have like friends that maybe don't like so much heat, maybe just like stick to like a pinch. See how I got a pinch like in my finger here, or my finger in my thumb, and kind of just like try and like spread it around. And you want to put this on before you put the cheese on. You'll taste it better. Like if you like forget and put the cheese on, yeah, it'll be there, but it won't be as good. Just trust me on that in this like experience. Put cheese on, and I actually have a cheese blend that I think I got for Stop and Shop. Let's see. Yeah, it's just a pizza blend, but any mozzarella cheese will be fine. You're probably gonna want mozzarella cheese just because it's like the pizza thing to do.
It's got the stringy quality.
Stringy quality, yeah. Because you've got, this one's old and has mold on it, so we're not going to use that one. We're going to throw it out. This one is new and does not have mold on it. So a safety thing, if you see any mold on any food, you should not use it. Just throw it out because you can't see. So like in there, that looks pretty good. September 21. Okay, so we should probably use this September's next month. And some people told me you want to go light on the cheese, but if you go light on the cheese, you're a heathen. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, well, that's your opinion. We're allowed to have our opinions. That's why they call it America. The land of the be-doers. And now, I don't know how to say it, piece de resistance, I'm not good with the French, are chicken nuggets. Now, we discovered this during
quarantine.
There we go. Chicken nuggets are actually really good on pizza. Now, you can't just put them on willy-nilly, and I don't recommend putting them on before you put the pizza in the oven, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So, any cutting board. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get a bowl, and I'm gonna cut up chicken nuggets. It is far easier to cut up chicken while it's frozen, believe it or not. So I'm just gonna take out a handful. You probably don't need this. Oh, I wonder what happened to this one. Got like annihilated. Let's leave this one aside. Alright, oh, I guess it's a knife I'm using. Alright. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm just gonna cut the chicken nuggets into these little pieces like that. And see how, even though it's frozen, how easily a knife is much more gonna, even if it's slightly thawed, and these might have slightly thawed because they were in a hot car. It's kind of hot here right now. You know, it's mid-August. You know how it goes. You don't need to thaw these out because remember, the oven is at 500 degrees. So even in 8 minutes when these are going to be, and the other thing is chicken nuggets are already pre-cooked, so at least the ones we buy are pre-cooked. I probably should mention that. You want to make sure that your chicken nuggets are pre-cooked, but then again, they're going into a very hot oven, so it probably wouldn't matter, but I figure it's important information that should be mentioned probably. There we go. Normally I put dinosaur shaped ones on there, but these were on sale this week, so there. All right, so now we're gonna put the pizza in. So what I recommend doing is, kind of bringing this out a little bit, and then kind of just like, you just kind of like shake it off until it comes off, and then you gotta be quick. Of course, I'm always generous with these because I love the chicken nuggets. Timer for probably 9 minutes is probably enough. You might want to do it a little bit slower, a little bit quicker, maybe 7 minutes, but because it's gas, we'll cook it 2 extra minutes just to make sure it's cooked. And that's it. We'll take it out and we'll show you the finished product in 9 minutes. Done. Check that out, huh? So what I usually do is, because I don't have one that goes all the way to the back, I usually just kind of like inch it in here and kind of like just pull it off like that. And see, that's kind of what you're going for. I mean, I could probably leave it in for another minute if I wanted to, but that is definitely done.
And you want to have that separate cookie sheet up on top to use as a cutting rack.
Yep, because I have a pizza cutter. I have actually 2 different kinds of pizza cutters. So this is probably, everyone's probably familiar with this one. Has a little blade on it. A professional one, or this one here, you just kind of like go that way. And see how that just cuts through like that? That's how you know you got it good. There we go, we got some pizza.
Alright, so we're gonna try Evan's pizza. I'm sure it's disgusting and awful. I mean, I hate it so much. Why do I keep coming home for dinner? Of course it's going to be amazing because we perfected this while in quarantine, so why not make it for you guys, because it's definitely a tasty treat to have. You can have it once a week, you can have it whenever the heck you want. It's pizza and you don't have to pay for gratuity or anything, and just make it at home. So I already took some Lactaid because I am lactose intolerant. Oh my god. So the crust is really spectacular. The bottom of it definitely crusty on that hot stone, and I always recommend doing that. And the ratio for cheese and sauce and toppings, whatever you want to put on it, you don't have to do the chicken nuggets. You can do chicken nuggets and other veggies, It's kind of like a chicken parm. Don't think of it as I'm putting chicken nuggets on my pizza. It's chicken parm. But the ratio that he does is super good, and I definitely recommend this. Try it at home, make it your own family tradition, because we need those good family times. And see you again next time. Don't forget to subscribe to Sweetly Savory. You can do that right here. You can watch some more videos over here, and maybe watch the cat too. I'll try to find some videos that feature Princess in them. And don't forget to ring that subscribe button so you can be notified of new videos or when they're posted. And we'll see you next time on Sweetly Savory.
Kitty, get the hell out of here. Stealing my cheese. Did you hear that? Did you see that? The cat heard, came over, and tried to steal my cheese.